Welcome of power-packed presentations and captivating conversations. Here our discussions are dynamic, enlightening, and deeply nourishing for the mind. We delve into a wide array of subjects from insightful book reviews to the latest in current affairs to pressing socio-economic issues and profound theological discussions. Sit back, relax, and prepare to be inspired. We hope you enjoy this episode. Greetings, friends. Welcome to Eden Talk. Today we're going to be looking at the part that says, "Hallowed be thy name," as part of the Lord's Prayer. As we already know, it comes from Matthew chapter 6 from verse 9 up to 13. Hallowed be thy name is one of the key phrases that Jesus uses when he actually talks about how to pray, after being asked, of course, by his disciples, "Lord, teach us to pray." Now the question is, what does it mean, hallowed be thy name? First of all, what is a name? Well, textbook definition of what a name is a word or set of words by which a person or thing is known, addressed, or referred to. For example, my name is Leon. Similar would be a title or a designation or a label. Now, some names tend to be more popular in certain areas than others. Like, for instance, the name Adolf was very popular before World War II. In Russia, the name Alexander is very popular. But world over, the name Muhammad is very popular. So some names are preferred than others. But scripture in the book of Philippians chapter 2, verse 9, it says, "Therefore God also has highly exalted him," meaning Jesus, "and given him the name which is above every name." So scripture tells us that there is a name that is exalted above any other name. We have names and titles and designations for dignitaries, for presidents, for prime ministers. Even your father has a name. But what name could be greater or more revered than the name of God? In the book of Exodus, when Moses was called by God to deliver the children of Israel out of captivity, Moses said to God, "If they ask me, 'What is this God's name?' what should I say to them?" Verse 14 says of chapter 3 of Exodus, "And God said to Moses, 'I am who I am.' And he said, 'Thus you shall say to the children of Israel, I am has sent you.'" Now, it might seem weird that God will call himself I am. The difference between the God of creation, the God of the Bible, the God that Moses spoke to, is that he is the true God. The other gods, they are not. In fact, in the New Testament, at some point, Jesus said, "Before Abraham was, I am." They actually took up stones wanting to stone him because they knew that was one of God's names. Now, the question being, Jesus says, hallowed be thy name. What does it mean to hallow a name? By definition, you would say that to hallow a name means regarded as holy or venerated as sacred. So the only name that can be hallowed or venerated is the name of God. In fact, scripture even tells us that holy and reverent is his name. That's why in our denomination, you will never see us calling a pastor or an elder reverend, because it's holy and reverent is God's name. Only God deserves such a title. One of the 10 Commandments tells us that you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. For the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. What does it mean to take the Lord's name in vain? And what are we doing when we are hallowing or honoring or holding his name as sacred? Most people, when they hear "don't take the Lord's name in vain," they think you shouldn't just curse and swear using God's name. That is true, you shouldn't curse and swear using God's name. But it goes even deeper than that. If you read the Old Testament, you'll notice that God's relationship with these people always seemed to be a relationship of a husband and wife. And even in our days, when a woman marries a man, she takes the man's name. So when you become a Christian or a believer, you become part of God's family and you take God's name. So taking God's name in vain not only means not using it in a careless way, but it also means not misrepresenting his character. Because in ancient times, name just wasn't a way of just identifying who you are or what you stand for, but also it showed your character. So honoring God's name would be representing God rightly to those who do not know him. So let us hallow God's name. Let us not say it in a careless way. Let us not misrepresent his name. This is one of the key phrases that Jesus used and wanted the people to understand when they first begin to pray to the Creator God. Thank you, and God bless you.